Hello everybody and welcome back to Evolving Vibes, the community for witches, pagans, spiritualists, and everybody in between. If you remember our last video, we made some anointing oil, and I told you then that I was making that oil so that we could do something else in this video, and this is it. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is showing you first how to dress candles with anointing oil, which is really simple. But the second part of the video is actually going to be talking about our energy and calling our energy back and how we can do that. There are a lot of different ways of doing it. One of the more common ways that I get asked about a lot, believe it or not, is cutting cords. And how do we cut cords? What is cord cutting? And all of that. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you how we recall energy, how we can cut cords using candles, using anointing oil, and using some string. Along with all of that, if you wait to the very end of the video, we're going to actually do a ceremony or a ritual, whatever you want to call it, where we can cut cords. So make sure that you stay around to the end of the video so you can actually see how everything I'm talking about is actually going to work out in a practical sense. And I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you do to call your energy back inside of the comments. And what we're going to do now is just talk a bit about energy and where it goes, what we do with it, and how the hell do we get it back? Energy transference is absolutely real. No matter what we do throughout our day, we're going to transfer energy. We're going to receive energy back. One of the things that, if you've known me for very long, you've known me in my intimate circle, you'd also know that I'm very particular about touching. I'm very particular about who touches me and about who I touch. But it goes further than that. Even hanging up my jacket at work, or even hanging up my jacket when I go out someplace, I'm very conscious about where I put it and what I put it against. I really personally try not to put my jacket hanging up against other people's jackets because of energy transference. I'm also really big about where I sit, how I sit, what I'm sitting in. I'm kind of weird anyway, being a Virgo, but a big portion of it is because of energy transference. Now, anytime I'm in a social situation and I'm getting ready to leave, one of the things I do once I'm inside my vehicle is just sit there quietly with my eyes closed for just a couple of minutes, and I call the energy that I might have been utilizing or transferring in that situation back onto me. And any energy that I've picked up, I'm visualizing and pushing back towards the individual or the situation or the things that might have attached itself to me. No harm, no foul. Whatever energies come my way, I send back to its owner. With any energy that I might have transferred over, I call on back to me. It's just that simple. When I get more involved in a situation, and when I've been long-term involved in a situation where I've put a lot of energy into it and there's been a lot of transfer, that's when I tend to do more of a ritualistic aspect. And one of the most common ones to do is cord cutting. Cord cutting is simple. This is a cord and we cut it. We could use scissors to do it, or we can use candles to do it. I personally go with the candle route, again, because it's more of a ritual and because the energy and intent that I'm putting out there to bring my energy back, I'm actually taking action with too by creating this simple yet very effective ritual to do so. And that's where we are today, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, is simple cord cutting ritual. Doesn't take a lot of energy, doesn't take a lot of work, definitely doesn't take a lot of time, but it absolutely is effective and efficient, and that's where we're at. So when we look at our energy, and we look at it being transferred and us having energy from others upon us, sort of look at it like strings, energy strings. I got my energy going out, and someone else's energy is coming in. And now imagine this 100 times fold. So you've got all of these different cords of energy going out as well as coming back in. Some of them are great, and we want to keep them there as long as we can. Others, at some point in time, may have reached their natural conclusion, and we want to take them back. So when we do a cord cutting ritual, we are not doing anything onto it. We're not doing anything negative. We're not wishing negative vibes back to somebody. All we're actually doing with a cord cutting ritual is saying, yo, I want my energy back. We've shared energy. I want you to have your energy back. We've shared energy. Now is the time that it's come to its natural conclusion. So I'm sending back to you all of the energy that I've given you, or you've given me, and I'm taking back all of the energy that I'm giving you. Now, when we look at cord cutting, the first thing people think about is a breakup, or a relationship, or a human being, or a person. But it doesn't have to be. You can really do cord cutting for anything. You want to stop smoking. All of that energy you've put out there to buying cigarettes, to smoking cigarettes, or whatever it might be, all of that, you can actually call that energy back, call back everything that came from that, and send back to that practice, that habit, whatever you want to call it, all this energy that is attached to you. It's very simple to do. Now, people say, oh my gosh, it's so hard to quit smoking. How can you make it so simple? It's hard because our human experience makes it hard. It's as simple or as difficult as we want it to make. It's all about our intent. If you truly want to change a habit that you have the power to do so. Whether it be smoking, whether it be diets, whether it be the way you react versus respond to situations, it's all up to you. You have to take personal responsibility. Now, when we're talking about individuals and we're cutting cords because our energies are no longer going to be working together and we've reached our natural conclusion in that relationship, it again is all about you. If you do a cord cutting because you want to send the ex's energy back to the ex and take your energy back from the ex, you can do a cord cutting. However, if you're answering texts for booty calls at 2 a.m., if you're sending out texts, if you're still trying to have a relationship with them, guess what? Your action doesn't match your intention. The universe is like, yo, I don't even know what the hell you want to do, so whatever, have at it. And it's not going to come to fruition. It's not going to be successful. So no matter what we do in this realm, our intent and our action have to match. So as we get involved in doing this cord cutting, I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to understand totally that you are responsible for your own successes. You can put all of the intent out into the universe, but if you don't follow action with that intent, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to work. So don't be thinking, oh, I'm a sucky witch because I never get anything I want when I put intent out. No, that's not the situation. It's not about the intent you're putting out. It's about the action you take after that intent. So they go hand in hand, they're commingled, and it's all part of that same piece of leather. So now that we've talked about energy transference, now that we've talked about sending energy back and taking energy back, we're going to get involved in actually doing the cord cutting process. We're going to start off with just doing a practical demonstration of how to dress the candle, how to set up the ritual, and then we'll actually do the ritual together. Now, my ritual is not going to be for calling back any energy. It's going to be for display purposes only, to show you how to do it. Right now, I don't have any energy that I want to send back to anybody or any situation, nor do I have any energy that I need to recall back to myself. So we're going to practice this ritual so you can actually see it on camera, and you can take with it, as always, what resonates with you, and you can leave the rest behind. But let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done anything like this. And let me know what you think about the whole process. And I will see you on the other side of that camera. Welcome back. So I've got my area all set up. And I actually cast my circle as I normally would to protect my ritual that I'm going to be doing, to draw in the energy that I want to make this ritual go out into the universe and send my intent out successfully, and to block any negativity or any negative vibes from coming in. Now, next thing I'm going to do is on this plate is put some herbs down. You see all my herbs in a plate, and I cannot overstate this enough. You choose the herbs that correspond with you. These are herbs that I put down for this ritual, but it can be any herb that you want to use, as many as you want to use, or as few as you want to use. It's all up to you. So the next step for me is my candles. So right now I have a purple candle and I have a blue candle. As I said before, you can utilize color correspondences, or you can just simply take two candles out and say, this candle is going to be symbolic of, and this candle is going to be symbolic of. And those are the two candles that I'm going to be utilizing to attach my cord to. What you can do is scribe your candle. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that. And it's not something you have to do, but certainly something you can do. So this candle is representing me. This candle is representing whatever energy I might be sending back to whatever individual or situation or habit. So on this candle, I could take a little knife and I could literally scribe symbols or actually words of anything that I wanted to use to symbolize this individual, the circumstance, whatever it might be. I could also do the same thing with a marker, and you can see how the marker is leaving its mark. So I'm actually just putting random marks on there just to show you, but certainly you can use whatever you want to use. So I got the anointing oil, a little dab on my finger. Just a little dab will do you. You can see it's moist. And I know some people hate that word. And I'm going to dress moving away. And you can see that the marks actually stay on the candle. Now, fun fact, once you mark the candle with your intent with that marker, even if the mark starts to slightly fade, that doesn't mean it's not working. It's completely appropriate and fine. So this is the candle to which energy is going back to. So I'm dressing it, moving away from me. Just like that. And I'm just going to place it down there. And this is the candle that represents me. So I'm calling my energy back. So I'm dressing towards me. The same thing goes. I could scribe on it if I wanted to, using a permanent marker or using a knife, pen, pin, whatever you want to use. But all that energy is coming back towards me. Just that simple. So now we're just going to put these candles here for just a second while I take some of this oil off my fingers. Now that I have some of the oil off of my fingers, the excessive oil anyway, I'm going to put the candles in with the herbs. So what I'm going to be doing is taking the candle, placing it down with the herbs, and taking some of the herbs and placing it all around and on top of the candle. And as I said in previous videos, it doesn't matter how much of the herbs actually stick to the candle. It's all about the herbs coming in contact with the candle. Now what I'm going to do is visualize what these herbs are representing, as well as what I want these herbs to do as they come in contact with the candle. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, what are you going to do next, Bri? Well, for me, my personal practice is I leave the candles in contact with the herbs for a bit. Let's not forget, this is a ritual. So we do take our time with it, and we do allow things to absorb energy. We do allow things to absorb our intent. So right now, I've currently dressed the candles. I've actually scribed them. I've actually put my intent into each herb as I was sprinkling it down. And now I've actually put the herbs, the oil, and the candles all together on my plate that's been cleansed and blessed for this ritual. And I'm just going to let it sit now and allow the herbs to stay in contact with the candles until I feel it's set. And that could be a minute, that could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 5 hours. It's all up to you. This is your ritual. Alrighty, we are back. And as you can probably tell by this new candle, it's been a while. I've let this really sit for a period of time, and now what I'm going to be doing is attaching the cord to the candles. And this can be a little bit of a tricky part, especially when I'm doing it on camera. So off camera, what you didn't see was I took this cord and I cut it and made a lot of length just because I wanted to be sure I had enough cord. I also took anointing oil and I anointed the cord with the anointing oil with my intent that I want to have into it. So my next logical step is going to be attaching the cord to the candles, and this can be tricky. And as I said, definitely more tricky when I'm doing it in front of camera. So it may get a little bit ugly while I'm doing this because I don't often do this with a camera directly in front of me. So I'm going to take my first candle. Doesn't matter which one, but I like to use the one that symbolizes me. And I'm going to take my cord and I'm going to attach it to it. You can attach the cord any part of the candle that you want. I usually do the upper 3/4. That's just my thing, but you do you. So this is where it's going to go, right around here somewhere. It doesn't really matter though. Herbs are getting caught in the cord. That's completely fine. That's completely normal. So there is that cord attached. Now what I do is put that in a candle holder. It makes it a heck of a lot easier to do versus turning around and trying to hold the candle or put the candle standing up in a plate with some melted wax. There's nothing wrong with using candle holders. You do you. Whichever way you want to do it is up to you. That's the way that I like to do it. Now with the other cord, or the other candle I should say, I'm going to wrap it around the candle a couple of different times, just like that. And I'm just going to tie that off. Now you may want to have the candles a little bit further away from each other, and that's fine. And we're back. Everything's nice and pretty. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said before. So now I'm going to say a little blessing, incantation, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to focus on my candle, calling back my energy, calling back exactly what I need and want to have back into my life from that energy. And then I will address the other candle for the individual, the circumstance, the situation, and send that energy back with no harm, no ill intent, no negativity, back to where it needs to go because it's no longer serving my vibe and the situation itself has come to its natural conclusion. I'm going to keep my herbs around, and as you can see, I'm leaving the candle holders. I like to leave the candle holders, other people don't. It's all up to you. Next step is going to be lighting the candles. To do that, I'm going to use one of my ritual incense sticks. I'm lighting up the incense stick. I'm going to light and illuminate my candle. I'm going to light and illuminate the other candle. I'm going to put the incense out. I'm going to bless both. I'm blessing my candle and my energy and calling it back to me. I'm blessing this candle, this energy, and sending it back to whomever, whatever it is that no longer serves our vibe. And now you can see the cord's actually starting to ignite on the left side. And you can see that the flame's growing larger as it takes on this cord. And we'll be actually seeing that along with it on the, there you go, on the right side at the same time. And this is the part, if you do have a smoke alarm in your house and it's really sensitive, you want to sort of keep it away from that area because you are going to set off the smoke alarm. And I don't do this outside because obviously with the wind and such, it's going to play a big part in the influence of it all. So I do it inside. I will make sure, however, that I will keep the window open if I'm afraid of too much smoke to set off the smoke alarm. And you can see the flame does get rather aggressive as it's meeting that cord and cutting it. And so you're going to see the candle melting a lot faster than it normally would, actually going inside the plate, and that's all well and good. There's our cord actually being cut, that energy going back to wherever it needs to go back to with no harm or ill intent. Our energy is going to be coming back to us with no harm or ill intent for us to utilize in other circumstances, other venues. The cord has now been cut. The energy has been sent out. The energy now is returning to us. Alrighty, I just wanted to go over one last aspect of this with you. So you can see how this candle is coming to its natural end and it's going to be burning out shortly. And this candle is also on its way out. But you can also see all this wax residue that's on the plate, as well as what's going to be inside the candle holders. And one of the other common questions that I do get is, what's the best way of removing wax? Because scraping it sometimes takes a lot of work and energy. So what I like to do, and it's something you may want to consider doing yourself, is after all of this has extinguished itself and everything is completed, I'll take all of the herbs off the plate and put them in a special bowl that I have for offerings, and I'll take the plate itself along with these candle holders and I'll put them in the freezer, and I'll freeze the wax. When wax gets frozen, it is so easy to come off. So that's just a little helpful hint that you can use to get wax off of any of your magical tools or anywhere that you actually have wax buildup from any type of ritual. Just literally stick it inside your freezer, let it freeze, and it's going to come right off that surface really easy with no residue. And that, my dears, is actually how you do a cord cutting ritual. You get to decide what you want to make for anointing oil, or if you just want to buy anointing oil, or if you just want to use grapeseed oil and put the intent that you have and want into that oil and utilize it that way. Same thing goes for herbs. You saw the herbs that I used as an example in this ritual, but certainly you can pick any herbs that you want to pick out that correspond with the intent that you want to create for that ritual. Same thing goes with the candles. You can use very specific colors to match your intent, or you can use any color and make the intent infused into that candle. There really are no rules. It's all up to you. When we talk about, and when you saw the cord cutting experience as the candles went down and ignited the cords, understand each and every time the reaction is going to be very much different. It may be really dramatic with all these flames and everything going high, or it may be very simple with the cords simply being burned away and being cut. Again, drama is drama. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be complete. So when we're doing this ritual, it's all about cutting cords. We don't need to have a high flame. We don't need to have all this drama and all these poofs. So long as the cords are cut during the ritual is done and the energy has been pushed forward into the universe for that specific intent. And then and only then, it's up to you and the actions that you put forward next to allow this intent to flourish. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you've done this before, if you're going to do it, or what kind of practice that you have when you want to call back your energy and send back any energy that's no longer going to be utilized by you. I hope and hope and hope you like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And if you want, watch one of these two next videos. Helps grow the channel, helps grow the community, and lets us go further and further and further into that YouTube universe. Until next time, as always, please be safe, be well, and be blessed.